Hey y'all, I know I didn't make a big announcement that I'd be live, but every Wednesday, here we go. This is our time together. How y'all doing out there? I'm just inviting a few people. I'm probably gonna walk a little bit actually while I'm talking to you today. How y'all doing? Say hi when you come into the room so I'll know you're here. Come on in the room. You know that song, that old song? Come on in the room. 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 I'm doing the invitations again. I would love to hear from you all today. I'm gonna make sure I pause so that it's not a monologue, and you can share what your thoughts are, your lessons are from this whole SHeaMoisture thing. Come on in the room. Damn. Okay. Come on in the room. Come on, good people. Okay. All right. I did the invitations. Hey, Monique, we got to get on the calendar. Hey, Kathy. Hi, sweetheart. How you doing? I'm going to use this chair for some support today. So what did you all think about the SHeaMoisture? I'm going to leave a little space and time for you to comment about what you saw. You know that I did quite a bit of posting yesterday about my observations from, what my thoughts were about the lessons that SHeaMoisture brought to us. I'll do a disclaimer. You know that I don't tend to prescribe or subscribe to a victim's point of view. A lot of times Black women have positioned themselves to be the cosmic cleanup woman. We clean up when people leave us out. We clean up when our feelings have been hurt. We clean up when we spend our money with vendors and in commerce, and we have to go back and tell them that we matter and that we count. And so I think that when we find ourselves having to do so much cleanup, that it really is an opportunity for us to look at how we are positioning ourselves as a consumer, where we're only spending money, but what do we do with our money? Where is our voice? Where are we at the table? Are we only looking at ourselves later on after the fact that we have to go back and clean up? Because my question regarding the SHeaMoisture situation was, who was at the table? Who was at the table that approved that particular ad? And why is it even when you get ready to expand your brand, you forget your base? So there's so many lessons for us as women on how we spend our money. But it's also lessons for us in wholeness, because it opened up. If you sometimes you got to read in the comments, and if you look at some of the comments, this was a hot topic. Y'all know hair is a big deal. There are still some women who recently I was listening to a men's panel who were saying, now those of you who are listening, this may not be your issue, but there are still some women who will not even have sex with their husband for a few days until their hairstyle gets old. Did y'all know that? That there are women who do not want their husband to touch them, and they don't want to have sex with their man after they get a good $1,500 to $3,000 or more weave or sew-in or lace front, or not, or anything, any tracks or anything like that. If you get your hair pressed, even There are women who will not have sex with their husband. So we are still having a huge conversation around hair. Monique says, I have mixed feelings about it. Found out that their marketing and executive team is Caucasian. Found that it to be very interesting and understood why they missed the mark. Saw a few versions that included more diverse textures of hair. Found myself offended by the implication that biracial looking girl wasn't black enough to represent. I get it though. That's a great perspective. Because I could see how you would see it from that point of view. Yeah, so now this hair discussion now opens up a conversation around sisterhood. It opens up a whole conversation around colorism, because that's still a hot topic for us. This is on the heels of Gilbert Arenas saying that that dark-skinned women, and in Washington D.C., I'm considered dark-skinned. I'm from Mississippi by way of New Orleans and in college and marriage and everything. And guess what? I'm not considered dark-skinned in New Orleans. There are people down south who are dark like this. They're dark like that. And that's what we consider dark skin. But anyway, it has opened up this whole dialogue even around colorism. Kathy says, I was deeply disappointed. I used them exclusively. Me too. But it's nothing new. White America has been doing this for a long time, but it's our fault because we don't flex our wealth. Go ahead now, Kathy. Teach now up in here. We have the power to shut them down, not just SHeaMoisture. If we started boycotting these companies that don't respect us. Well, here's the thing. That's what I'm talking about. You're right as far as boycotting some of the companies, but I'm even thinking about it from a more why do we have to always boycott? Why is that ingrained in our womb consciousness that if they don't, then I'll boycott? There are so many of us who come from generations of women who mixed things in their kitchen, who mixed oils, who did these things. Why are we such consumers? I asked us a question about who are some of the brands, and people posted some of the brands they knew. If you can find the post on my page, please feel free to go to my personal page and post some of the brands that you use. But I want to do better with being able to create my own stuff in my kitchen. Now, I understand we have busy lives, but some of that is the reason that we are so disconnected from ourselves, is that we've got to buy everything. Or some of you all have the talent of being able to mix up things. But look, you're right. I want to address who was at the table. I just left a meeting this morning with a sister who specializes in branding. And did y'all know that guy we like, that we love to listen to online, Gary Vanderpump? He has a funny name, Gary V. They call him Gary V. He talks with a lot of passion. He curses. His company is the company that actually did their branding. Did y'all know that? Gary, the white man, Gary V, who everybody loves, he's created a media company. They hired him to do the branding. The executives at the table actually were not any of us. Dominique said, I started making my own products and I see a major difference. Yep, you know your hair better than anybody. Well, Gary V. So his company is the company that advised, and this is a lesson for us in business, is when we start hiring people, do they have our best interests? Have we articulated our brand? Have we articulated what it is that we want? Because basically what I saw were women like us who said that, like Kathy, who said, I've used them exclusively, who felt betrayal. And for me, y'all know I always go to the spiritual first. And this is not the first time that we have conversations around feeling betrayed by people in business, by our men, because there's been a whole lot of controversy happening with these athletes who are saying that black women aren't beautiful. Have you been tuned into that? And I'm talking, when I was talking about color when you all came in, I was talking about Gilbert Arenas with his crazy ass, said that name one black woman who actually is beautiful. And he said dark skin black woman. And then this came on the heels of some other folks who've been saying that. So this is a sore topic. Imagine our girls though, because they're online. Hey, Kristen. They're online and they're watching these conversations. They're participating in these conversations. Monique said yes to his crazy ass. Yes, he's super crazy, right? No Chill Gill has something to say. And I actually wanted to just do a whole bunch of posts on IG and tag him. But he's so ignorant that he might have said something out of the way. And I don't do online arguments and debates and all that stuff because it takes me out. It'll take me out of my feminine. And so I really try to stay away from that type of thing. But there's so many lessons for us because it's coming. I seen some ladies who were getting into an argument. One of my friends on my Facebook page posted about the SHeaMoisture just today and saying, well, y'all nappy head ass need to put something in your hair anyway. Half of y'all need a perm. What did she say that for? So there were people who were tearing into her because she has very curly, wavy hair, and she's also a light-skinned woman. So it could also raise a whole lot of hoopla when our sisters start to talk to each other. Oh no, you're right. It's not worth my time. No. Monique says it's not worth your time. You're talking about tagging Gilbert Arenas, right? You can't argue with stupid. You are not the jackass whisperer. Yeah, you're right. I'm not the. But it planted in my mind just how many beautiful dark-skinned women. Who's trash? Who's trash? Tell me who's trash. Put her name in here. Who are we calling trash? I said Gilbert Arenas. Did I say any woman's name? But anyway, I'm going to wait for you to answer, Dominique. Who you talking about is trash. So, yeah, so if you're just tuning in, I wanted to hear some of your thoughts, some of your observations around what this SHeaMoisture thing has brought up. Okay, yes, okay, got it. She's not trash. Her mind probably has been trashed. But she's not trash. I try to hold a space for us no matter what our level of consciousness and no matter how low our vibration is. Hey, sweetheart. No matter how low our vibration is, I really do try to hold a space of not really calling any of our sisters trash, even if they have trashy thoughts and speak trashy language. I call it low vibrational language. Because when you rise to a certain vibration in your own self, when you are honing it, when you're nurturing it, you're gonna meet people who actually, what Monique said, self-hate. You're gonna look back and see how much you may have even hated yourself as well. So I know there was a time period where I didn't embrace my naps, but I liked SHeaMoisture. And I understand expanding. I definitely want to grow Rebirth International. I would love to appeal to other women as well, and I do in some respects. Sometimes the sisters who are not black, who are in this space, they'll send me inbox messages and say, "Is that for me too? Can I participate in this?" And sure, you can participate in this. But I learned from my mentor, from Iyanla, that even when you start off, you don't abandon your base. And there was a period of time when Iyanla went to Oprah, and when she was on Oprah, she started to have mass appeal. Even though she had been building city to city, state to state, and it mostly was us who were patronizing her. When then she got hired to be on Starting Over. Do y'all remember when Iyanla was on Starting Over? Well, she had now a mass appeal to a more expanded audience, white women in particular, and they started coming to the workshops. At one point, there was a period where it's funny. I got on an Intervision shirt today too. See. And it's funny because they started coming to the workshops like crazy. They were soaking in the material, and we did not change anything. We did not change how we delivered the information, because what happens is a lot of times with us in business is we start to change and try to make other people comfortable with our power and with our energy grid. A lot of times black women are not comfortable being black women, not to mention black women who are pleasured, who are turned on, and spiritual. I'm growing a unique space. And so when ReBirth continues to grow, I don't plan on abandoning my audience, my base, all of you who have been here, who honor and aren't afraid of me. Like, think about that. That's the only thing. And then for me, I looked at it from this place. So I'll leave my nuggets. But please, if you're just coming in, please share in the comments what it is that the lessons that you see in business, in sisterhood, because there's so many lessons that this whole SHeaMoisture has opened. It's opened a Pandora's box for our community. And when I talk about our community, I'm talking about several communities. I'm talking about black women amongst themselves. I'm talking about women in general and how we see sisterhood in a broader sense of the word. I'm also talking about business. Because who taught you about business? I don't know the sisters from SHeaMoisture. I imagine she started in her kitchen, just like Dominique says she's starting in her kitchen. And like Carol's daughter, and then when money starts to come to the table, you want to retire, you want to leave a legacy. And so here, what I learned about SHeaMoisture is they do not own 100% of their company. There's 40% of their shares that is owned by another interest. All of their executive branding is now contracted to Gary V. Y'all know Gary V. He's very, very popular. He gets thousands and thousands of views. Gary V is someone who started out with a wine company, a wine vineyard, and his digital presence became so huge that people started asking them to help them grow their brand, because now he's a multi-millionaire who has expanded based off of his digital presence. They said that they did 50 cuts of the video that we saw. But who's at the table? And that's, that question probably could have been the topic today. Who's advising us in business? Who's advising us in womanhood? Who's advising us in sisterhood and spirituality? I'm going to tell you, if I had taken some of my mother's advice, I would still be working a job, scared to launch in business. I would be scared to be in friendship with women, because my mother came from a school, you can't trust all these women. I mean, we have our conversations when we react to stuff from a victim point of view, when we just get on this boycott wagon and we don't go into a deeper conversation, then it's going to keep on happening. My question is, when are black women going to be at the table? Who's at the table advising you to leave out your market base? Who's at the why is this opening a Pandora's box yet again? A Pandora's box was opened around the Women's March between between women who are feminists and black women, because you know, in our history, we weren't considered feminists because we didn't have family issues where our men were treating us the way white men in power were treating their women. So that movement, the feminist movement, didn't have us in mind. And even though we jumped on it, and maybe we even benefited from it later, Alice Walker did a work and created a movement called Womanist. She said that she's not a feminist, she's a womanist. And so she created a whole work around womanism. I highly recommend, if you are about women's empowerment and you are holding a space for your own womanly transformation, that you know about Alice Walker and her work around womanism, because it really does lay the context and it lays the groundwork for some of us to not just jump in the middle of something and not know a little bit about women's history. Just like women, there's women's history, there's goddess history. Yeah, and there's a feminist history. And so we won't ever be able to hold people accountable, companies accountable, or ourselves accountable for our wealth if we do not have full context and we're always operating on emotions. Would you agree with that? That this is a season and a time for us to overcome emotions all the time about everything, even if it means something to us. Would you agree that we don't have to take on the black woman struggle? And just because you use your voice does not mean you're angry. Even on social media, you don't have to be angry when you don't. You know, one sister came on in my comments. Y'all go read the comments sometimes. Listen, some sister, I don't know, she follows me, I guess. She saw my post and she posted this long list of products. And she had a little smart comment in there. She said, "Do your research, dear." And I responded to her and I said, my question and my commentary was nothing about research. My question and my commentary was inviting dialogue. And I want you to post the list of black-owned products so that we can make choices and know that we have options. And when people betray us, we don't have to specialize in the boycott. We can specialize in the option. But okay, I saw a comment. Kathy said, "I think it's a wake-up call that we need to stop allowing other ethnicities to define our beauty and supply the products for our care and upkeep. The Koreans sell us hair and nails, and the Caucasian sells us pretty much everything else." Girl, you walking heavy. Yes, that's true. But when? Because many of us don't have a relationship with wealth. We have a relationship with lack. Most of us are afraid. This is what I said. Many of us are afraid of ourselves. We talk about black girl magic. We talk about it. But then you got people who are around here afraid of what they call witchcraft. Black girl magic is everything that these people who are in the church are afraid of. Black girl magic is who you are. You a witch to some people just because you are black. Do you know that? Because you are powerful. Because you are beautiful. Because you are alluring. Because you are seductive without trying. Many people fear what they call black girl magic, but it's a sad commentary to me when black girls fear black girl magic, but we call it something else. We, in our own such a muchness. Dominique Inez says, a lot of our women's history start and end with the independent woman. I hear all the time. Well, that's a good point. How do you feel about that, Dominique? This independent woman thing. You don't see me talking about being a boss chick, but I own my own business. I bootstrap my business. I've been building my business with my own money. Not one sponsor, not one loan, grant, or anything. I have bootstrapped my business, but I don't walk around talking about the boss chick movement. I think it's a very masculine replica. the boss chicks and all of that. The Orgasmic Abundance Telesummit that I did, and that audio set is still available for sale. It's marked down to $45. It was a birthday markdown that I never marked back up, or did I? 97. Anyway, either way, it's worth it for the business owners that we had that shared. For the Orgasmic Abundant Woman, exactly what I'm talking about is the feminine business model. Now, many of us don't know business, but when we do go into business, we're taught by women who have been taught how to be in business like men. That's another topic, ain't it? Y'all want me to come back on and talk about that? How we've been taught how to be in business, so that whole go hard or go home, that's been men. That's men who teach. Okay, I won't call names. I won't drop any names. Tell me what you think about that independent woman to make sure I understood what you were saying. Nina says, absolutely, full context is necessary. Monique said, to something, but I don't know what it is because Facebook has a delay. Keep that in mind when you're commenting. You don't know what, because of this whole 20 or 30-second delay. Yeah, girl, get that. Order the Orgasmic Abundant Womanhood Telesummit series, where it was, how many speakers did we have? 6 or 7. It was some amazing content about how to be in business, ideas for digital marketing space and social media. Sabira was one of the speakers. Even if you attended, get it and oh, yes, Monique, the one who called me dear. But she corrected herself, because I was saying that we don't have to get angry when people show, because people are used to arguing and being bitchy and confrontational on social media. It's become a new way of being and communicating. And we really do it more with amongst ourselves, and that's why I have Good Girls Gone Goddess, a space where women can be affirmed and loved on, and a space where we can have communication. Now, some of y'all don't post that much, but nothing is really off limits. It's not a whole lot that's off limits except putting another woman down. Dominique says, absolutely. A lot of women I hear on TV, the boss chick, quote unquote, talks about women's empowerment and quickly follow up with being independent. Don't need a man, children on their own, don't need a man, children on their own. I think you meant on their own, need their mother. I think is that what you meant? Right. I got it. Okay. I got it, Dominique. Thank you. I was asking you, how do you feel about that though? Because you're younger, and so I want to know, do you subscribe to this independent chick? What is your generation saying about us? Honestly, I really would like to know. How do y'all feel? Do you think we're hypocritical? Do you think we're soft, cowardly? Do you think that we are strong, powerful? What is your generation saying about some of us who are 45 and over? You're not by yourself in here anymore. You're not the only one in your age group. I have a beautiful sister who just joined the group, who may be teaching or something right now during the day, but she's in here. All right, so I just wanted, Monique said, exactly, no one will take us seriously if we are not a part of the solution and engage in healthy dialogue. Yes, absolutely. And let me tell you, those of you who are growing forth in Goddess, like we're doing here in Good Girls Gone Goddess, those of you who are growing forth in Goddess, guess what? You stand out even more, because many of your sister friends who are still complaining about the issue are just loving to just talk, are just loving to just complain. But when you start to take accountability for your healing, mind, body, and spirit, then you don't keep your business separate. You don't keep how you show up in the marketplace separate. It's a part of you. The feminine business model is very much circular, or at least very much like the womb. But that scares some women. because there's a disassociation between the woman and her power, her womb power. So the Pandora's box that was opened up, I tend to think that when a Pandora's box is open, why close it? Open the damn box. Open the box for us so we can heal, so we can empty the box and make room for new things that serve us. Because in our boxes, most of the time is us. Many of us have placed ourselves in a box. Other people have placed us in a box. Our profession has placed us in a box. And now you have a culture that we're good enough to spend our money. Why? Let me ask you something. Why did SHeaMoisture feel like they needed to expand? If we spend the most money on our hair. Now, the health and beauty industry is a billion-dollar industry, multi-billion-dollar industry if we include everybody. But black women alone, we spend more than we save. We spend more than we create more business. In other words, we are consumer and we are consumed. We are consumer and we are consumed. And most of you all are gifted. You're not, when we start talking about extraordinary womanhood, it's inclusive, yes. But there's a part of the culture, and one of my ministry friends and I were meeting, and she said, honey, the kind of work that you are doing is changing culture, and it's not easy to change culture. Well, she didn't have to tell me that. But the culture of womanhood has been wounded. Do we see that? The culture of womanhood as abroad has been wounded, but the culture of black womanhood has been traumatized and wounded. And many of us have accepted it as a normalized way of existing in America, as the wounded, omitted woman. We are omitted from history. And this is what I said. Don't even expect it from the church, because that's a brand. The church is a brand. The church is an industry. And even the woman has been omitted from theology. The woman has been omitted from the major religions. The woman has been omitted from her financial leadership in oftentimes, but yet she may carry the burden of the finances or the family. Sorry, I thought someone was crawling on me, y'all. I was about to see a real girl side of me. I thought someone was crawling on me. I was about to have a Costa Rica moment over here. Y'all don't know how many things I was batting off of me in Costa Rica, baby, because you could be standing still and something be crawling on you that you don't even know what it is. Ants this size. So anyway, I really did. Maybe I should move away from this part, but I wanted to lean on the tree. But listen, we've been omitted, and I think that is what I tuned in on, the spirit of omission that felt like betrayal. So I'll leave you with this today. I want you to look in your life. How you doing? And look at places where you have felt omitted, left out, disregarded, tossed aside. And no matter what your opinion is, when you look at it, are you looking at it from the place of the womb or the place of your wealth today in the present tense? The womb is wealthy. Your womb power is your wealth. In your womb power is where we have the ability to create more than just babies. Beyond just our orgasm, all of which serves us. Black women have not been having conversations about how to create progeny, how to create legacy, how to position themselves. If you have not ever heard my recording, my MP3 freebie called Position to Prosper, I talk about this on a generational level, that we have not been taught how to position to prosper. So by the time we turn 40, many of us We've made enough mistakes and had some choices that have taught us what our mothers didn't know how to teach us. Now, if you came from a family that are entrepreneurs, you are blessed. I just sat down at the table with a beautiful sister who came from a family of entrepreneurs. And she still made some radical choices and decisions for herself as well, that were her choices to own around her faith and her religion and all that. So there's several sides to coming from families of power. Some of you may be from a family of power and may feel trapped by that. When you think about what women are saying, is they were saying, I was loyal to you and you betrayed us. You left us like we didn't matter. Well, guess what? What I'm saying is that this is not a new story for us, particularly as Black women. It's not a new story for us. And my question for those of you who are growing forth in Goddess, when are we going to get tired of that story? Are you looking at the handwriting on the wall and positioning yourself to prosper, whether it be in love, whether it be in sex, whether it be in money? Now look, I'm going to say this. If you're in Good Girls Gone Goddess, the doors of the Juicy Spirit Awakened Church are open. You are welcome to apply to be a part of the process. If you have already participated in the Juicy You, if you've already had Juicy Living Quantum Leaps private coaching, you already qualify if you would like to experience the 6-month Rites of Passage program. I'm including a special module on orgasmic abundance as a sneak peek to my private mentorship program that I'm still I'm still launching some more surprises that are a part of that whole orgasmic abundance movement. So Juicy Spirit is definitely Juicy. The Juicy You is a starting point. Juicy Spirit Awakened, the Rites of Passage program, is life-changing to the point where you don't have to be afraid of yourself. In fact, you will transform your fear into fierceness, into power, into abundance, into orgasm, into your spiritual definition of who you are as a woman. So I'm going to read these last few comments and then close out. And Dominique says, I have subscribed to the independent culture, but as I've grown, I've realized interdependency to truly function. I feel incomplete without the masculine balance, but the masculine energy has hurt me, and it was very easy to fall under the spell of being independent. I get it. Phew. I need to speak because I can't type all of my thoughts. How about that? That's what happens when you do start speaking. You realize how much you got on the inside. So I look forward to hearing from you on Sunday on Sunday's call. I love to give you the floor. Come on now, come through. Dominique said, we have been taught to shut down our wombs since our menstrual cycles begin. Girl, you better teach. I got to raise up off this tree. You better teach over here, girl. What? Yes, indeed. How many of you have a poor relationship with your menstrual cycle? How many of you have had a poor messaging with your hair? Come on now. Dominique, you on a roll today. Y'all keep the conversation going in the comments. I'm sure you can @ and tag one another. But we have had such a poor relationship with our hair, with our skin color, with our womb, with our body shape. We're going to get butt injections. And if our butt doesn't look like a stripper's butt, come on now. But this is a new season, and the future is woman. We are in the season of the woman. So let's keep the conversation going, and maybe I should forward my thread over. Oh, Dominique, crying is orgasmic love. You'll learn that when you come into the Rites of Passage process. You'll learn that women who don't cry, who haven't had a good cry, oftentimes we're like a desert. We're like a desert in our money. We're like a desert in our communication. We're like a desert in our connection. We're like a desert in our that's why, baby, we say juicy. I want to be the one. I want to be your juicy spirit sensei. Because women who are afraid to cry oftentimes have taken on the masculine much, much, much more than we're willing to admit. So crying is not weakness. It serves you. So that's right, baby. Yes, you need to water your soil. And how do you water your soil? That's the problem. Many of us are expecting other people to water our soil. But when our soil is already fertile and we begin to water it with our own juices, then when we water it with our own juices, anything we put in it grows, including the men that we choose. Either they're going to grow or they're going to get out of the garden. All right. So I love you, sweethearts. I'm so glad to share this moment with you. I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I look forward to chatting with you all some more. I guess the lawnmowers are a good time for me to exit. Ciao, everybody. Come on into the rites of passage process. Inbox me. Let me know what your yes is and what it'll take to get you in there.